Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Kill10Rats. Welcome to the Age of Decadence, a look at the still in early access role-playing game that is nearing completion. One of the devs has just confirmed on the forums that the final act of the game is going to be finished within about a month, at which point it will be content complete, even though it probably won't come out of early access yet. It's a game that will tempt you to attach all sorts of tired tags to it that are currently sort of buzzing around whenever a game comes out. That's a little bit, maybe not graphically as impressive as something very current and up to date, but therefore has a certain amount of depth to it, and that sort of, gets bombarded with this old school hardcore, game's gonna kick your ass, choices matter. Be that as it may, most of that will turn out to be true in this case, but it's the package that matters, and the package in the case of the Age of Decadence is fantastic. It does a lot of things that I haven't seen in a while, so let's jump into a new game and let's just take it from the devs. Welcome, adventurer. You're about to die and we salute you. The Age of Decadence is a very different game from what you're used to. Its world is harsh and unforgiving, and it really doesn't take much to end up dead. In fact, it's painfully easy, especially if you try to play the game the way you normally play RPGs, when you roleplay a mighty hero who's able to handle any challenge and smite evildoers by the dozens. In this game, combat is always extremely dangerous. It is the hardest way to handle quests and progress through the game, and even a couple of thugs can easily put an end to your adventure. Keep in mind that you are not expected to beat every fight you're offered. There is no shame in walking away if your character isn't a killing machine. Optional fights are usually the hardest, so don't jump at the first opportunity to be brutally murdered. The game isn't linear, and it's not about killing people. Be aware that many people will not hesitate to lie to you, steal from you, or betray you should they see fit. Use your head, be careful what you say, and always look out for yourself, because no one else will. So there you have it. We're not going to do the training because it's just a simple combat tutorial. And it is entirely viable to play this game as a non-combatant and never fight, or at least try to avoid fights as much as you can, and it will be possible. You have a bunch of backgrounds that you can start with, and they all affect where you start. You will always start in the initial town, Teran, I think is the name. You will have a different angle on the storyline as it unfolds. Like, in some cases you start out on the side of the local lord, in some cases you are out for your own, in some cases you're a stranger in the town, in some cases you're affiliated with one of the guilds, so there's a lot of variety in your starting location, or rather starting background already, that sort of determines what gear you start with and how people will view you or respond to you in the game. I'm gonna set up the character as a drifter, and we're gonna just quickly turn him into a sort of tattooed outsider with flaming hair and a magnificent flaming beard. I hope I can see the color correctly. I'm a tiny bit colorblind. I think this should do it. Yeah. Okay, so now we'll call ourselves the Gaul, just because this sort of reminds me of a sort of Gallic tribesman. This game is sort of the background of the game is sort of a post-apocalyptic Roman Empire type deal. So it's a bit like what happened if Caesar's legion had won New Vegas, in a way. Not as extreme, but it'll give you an idea. The stats are where it really comes to the point where you can screw yourself pretty much immediately. The allocation and the skill allocation of your skill points matter. Like, if you do not put a focus on your character, and if you're sort of all over the place with your skills and you go like, oh, I can sort it out later, you're probably not going to make it very far. And if you think you can sort of put points into the talky aspect of the game, persuasion, streetwise, etc., etc., and then later on sort of sort it out with a combat angle and then get into a fight, it'll not end well. Now, I have noted down the character build I want to make. I'll just quickly look this up and distribute the points, and then we'll be back. Alright, and here we are back again. I have allocated the points as advised on the forums. There is a thread on the game's forums about the current build of the game and how you can get the most out of it with your skill allocation. Now, I probably still futzed this up quite a bit because there is no real telling when to put the points where in your skills. I just went with sort of a semi-lore master build for this drifter here, where I'm thinking like he's sort of a disinherited lore master walking from town to town, so he has a heavy focus on lore, streetwise, and persuasion. Some critical strike just because I feel like, you know, we had some combat skill points just based on our stats, and rather than let them go to waste, put them in here, because there will be a situation where that comes in handy quite early in the game. There's also recommendation to put some points into lockpicking and crafting, which we will do at a later date, but for now we'll just go with the streetwise persuasive lore approach and jump into the game. Now the plan for this is to just play a chapter or two of the game and show off some of the content that the game has, you know, over the course of a couple of videos. Your adventure starts in Teran, a small crumbling town far away from the main tracks of travelers and caravans. It's been dying for the last 100 years or so, kept alive only by the combined efforts of its inhabitants. Broken stonework has been replaced by makeshift wooden construction, creating the impression that a new town is slowly emerging from the ruins of the old one. Much like Teran, the noble house controlling the town has seen better days. Before the war that toppled the empire and the devastation that ensued, House Daratan was one of the most powerful houses, but that was then, and times have changed. Today it barely has enough strength to maintain its hold over the local guilds. You spotted Teran on the horizon just in time. You had no more than a few drops of water left in your canteen. You were on the road for a long time and you were beginning to miss human contact, although you were certain that a few days in Teran would quickly remind you why you never stayed in one place for too long. And a fight in a room next door wakes us up. The camera is sort of a free-floating, occasionally a little iffy control scheme, but it's workable and functional. As you can see, it's sort of a top-down perspective as we're used to from the RPGs of the former days, or even now, like something like Pillars and Divinity. F5 quick save, WASD for camera controls, so, you know, a modern-ish control pattern. And we'll go take a look. A fight in a room next door wakes you up. It's your first night in Teran, a crumbling little town fighting a losing battle. The locals are too busy quarreling over scraps of power and influence to notice that the ship is sinking. Just like any other town you've seen, which is why you rarely stay in one place for too long. You wait until the fight is over, no reason to make someone else's problem your own, and go take a look. Go take a look. We actually start with a fair amount of currency here, which is rather nice, since we will need a bit of starting money to get off our feet in this town. Looks like you've missed quite a party. 3 people are dead, a merchant with a bolt in his chest, a clean professional work, an overzealous bodyguard with a gushing wound in his neck, an assassin hacked to pieces, his right arm almost severed at the elbow, his left hand missing some fingers. The bodyguard must have charged him, swinging his sword wildly when he realized that he's dying anyway. There's nothing like fighting a man who knows that he's already dead when concerned for his own life or no longer holding him back. We'll investigate. And our perception gives us a success. You notice that the trader is clutching some parchment in his hand, as if he hoped that it would shield him from harm. It looks like an old map, might fetch you a few imperials. As you take the map, you notice a small grey sphere lying on the floor nearby. You pick it up and examine it carefully. It's a metal sphere with several grooves running around it. Perhaps a lore master might be of service. You hear the innkeeper coming with the guards. It would be best to leave before they arrive. This sphere and the map actually also play a part in the lore master start, where you actually start as the apprentice of the local lore master and are sent to talk to this guy while he's still alive. And then he, I think, offers you the grooved sphere and you need to pass a check, so there's no guarantee that you'll get it, but you might get it. So as you can see, there's already some variety in the starting there. Return to your room and talk to the innkeeper. The innkeeper gives you a quick glance. "What can I do for you?" he asks in a most indifferent tone. "I'm new in town. Is there anyone who dabbles in old things around here?" "Talk to Feng. He's our lore master. Leave the inn, turn right. It's the only house with a guard posted outside. Can't miss it." "Is there any work around here?" That depends. Can you handle yourself in a fight if it comes to it? I'm more of a talker. Nice to have the choice there. Then you might want to have a chat with Linus the Skull. He runs the Merchants Guild. What else do you have here? Guilds, same as everywhere else. Try to go into business for yourself, you get fucked over fast. Unless you've got the numbers and the swords behind you, and if you do, well, maybe you become part of the problem. Just look at the Commercium. 2 decades back, they were nothing more than a bunch of farmers who got tired of the traders paying them shit for their produce. So they teamed up, hired some muscle, picked a name that sounded big, and went into the trading business for themselves. Soon enough, they realized they could set the prices if they got more farmers to join them. But farmers are stubborn folk, many prefer to stay independent. That's where the muscle came in handy, and once you start on that road, it doesn't take much to take the next step, does it? And now you can't sell shit without a Commercium taking their cut, but that's life for you. So, which guilds are hiring? If you have what it takes, they'll take you. The Imperial Guards, what's left of the Imperial Army, are looking for fighting men. They're supposed to keep the road safe, but by the look of things, they're aiming a bit higher. The Commercium will take you if your tongue is well hung. But they've been playing dangerous games lately, so you may want to think twice about it. Controlling trade is no longer enough. They want to run everything, so don't come back and say I didn't warn you. The boatmen of Styx are looking for killers. There is some bad blood between them and the guards. They say it goes all the way back to the good old days. So that's the difference between a killer and a fighting man. An assassin usually works alone and thus must kill fast. Taking your time trading blows while you're surrounded is the fastest way to end up dead. A soldier's a pack animal. Holding the line is more important than taking risks to gut someone, if you know what I mean. I'm a late riser. What's open after dark? Kados Tavern is always open. It's a front for the 40 Thieves Guild. I'd stay away from them if I was you. Thanks for the tour. Rest for the night and pay Fung a visit in the morning. And all these guilds come with their own storylines. Some of them are mutually exclusive. Some of them require you to build your character a certain way. As you can see, there's already something screaming replay value at you here. So we'll visit Fung. You see a signpost that says don't sell priceless artifact for nothing, come and see Fung first. Maybe you should pay Fung a visit about the map. And so we shall. We'll open the door and head on in. In a world on its way downhill, the future lies in preserving the pre-war knowledge. Lore masters, the self-proclaimed experts on antiquity, are at the front line of this trade, digging through ruins, copying ancient manuscript, trading bits and pieces of pre-war knowledge, and appraising anything that looks old. What do you want? Says Fung. I will talk to him. Fung came to Teran with a caravan 2 decades ago. Nobody knew where he came from or why, but he had the bitterness of a man soured by the memories of the life he lost. He was well versed in languages in the antiquities, but the town already had a lore master. Fortunately for Fung, this lore master soon fell sick and passed away, despite the best efforts of the local alchemist who was quite puzzled by his symptoms. Shortly thereafter, Fung became the new lore master and even earned the favor of Lord Antides after discovering a number of Daratan relics. Well, that's curious. I wonder if Fung... No, he looks like an honest man. What is it? Fung asks Fung with irritation, acknowledging your presence and putting down some mechanism he was studying. Well, can you appraise something for me? Show him the trader's map. A wise choice. Many people sell very valuable items without realizing their true value. Let me see. This... I can't believe it. It can't be. Fung puts the map down, looking shocked. This, my friend, is an extremely valuable artifact. I'll be honored to research it for you, but it will cost you 50 Imperials. Oh, he actually seems to like us because he was trying... Like, if we were the lore master's apprentice, we'd have to charge the trader 100, I think, to look at it. But it's just, you know, him playing up the value and then sort of insinuating it's worth more than it actually is, so he can charge you a big fee and get you greedy. We can handle this with Streetwise or with lore, since we know something about it, or just know the trick, and we'll go with the trick. Fung chuckles. Alright, we'll leave the act for farmers then. It's a very old map of this region. I wouldn't pay 10 coins for it, but I know someone who will give you at least 100 Imperials. That's what you'll pay me 20 Imperials for. Do we have a deal? Here's the money. What else can you tell me about the map? Not much to tell you, to be honest. Fung smirks, suggests that being honest is simply something he isn't good at. The map bears the seal of Thor Agoth the Artificer, one of the High Lords. I assume that's his temple in the middle. That's all I can really tell you. Talk to Antides if you want to know more. And we gain some experience, or rather insight as it's called. We're the High Lords. You've heard about the war with the Kantari, at least. You know, the one that turns this entire continent into wasteland. It is said that during the war both sides summoned supernatural allies from other planes of existence, if you believe in such nonsense. Many loremaster will tell you that the Kantari summoned demons from the fiery pits of the underworld, while we, of course, summoned gods from some heavenly abode, but the truth is that nobody really knows what happened. What we do know for sure is that the Empire crumbled and fell, leaving us in ruins, a handful of towns, and stories to scare our children with. Well, fascinating. I'll pay Lord Antidas a visit then. It goes without saying that if he doesn't pay me, I'll be back to finish our conversation. Wait, you look like a capable man. There's a small matter I'd like to talk to you about. Lord Antidas has invited another lawmaster to Teran. Needless to say, I don't share his opinion that two heads are better than one. And I'll be very grateful if you can find a way to get rid of the new lawmaster. His name is Cassius. He's probably at the inn already, so don't waste any time. How grateful are we talking about? 50 Imperials. It's a deal. It's a deal indeed. Now, we can go free roaming in town. As you can see, there is quite a bit of it. But we can also bring up the map and have all the various parts of the town lined out to us. We can also bring up the world map, but there shouldn't be anything on that. As we hear about other places, they will show up on the world map. Now, we're gonna head for the inn to sort this Cassius fellow out for Fung. And let's see what the options are to get rid of him, yeah? Right, Cassius. 42-year-old loremaster Cassius, contemptuously called Cassius the Young, or Young Cassius by his grey-haired colleagues, has never understood the appeal of digging through dirt and ruins like a rat. Instead, he preferred to spend his time among neatly preserved scrolls, studying the work of many prominent loremasters of the antiquity and hundreds of accompanying commentaries he considered indispensable. Master Cassius was working on his second tractate, analyzing manifestations of the divine will in the year 4052, when Antidas' emissaries invited him to Teran. Cassius arrived early and was getting tired of waiting when you showed up and graced him with your attention. Is there something you want? And we can take him to the Lord, or we can lure him to an abandoned house. Since we're a drifter without much in the way of scruples, we'll lure him to an abandoned house. Cassius looks around in confusion. What is this hovel? Explain yourself immediately. So, if we didn't have any skills, we can just sort of get him to fight us, I suppose. We can also intimidate him or persuade him. And I think we'll try the persuasive approach at the start. You aren't getting it, are you? If you stay here, you will die. Do you want to wake up every day wondering if today is the day? Do you want to live in fear, never knowing when the assassins will strike? No, says Cassius quietly. I don't. I'll leave, he says after a long pause. You don't have to worry about me anymore. And we make a perception check and notice that he's lying. There's eagerness in Cassius' eyes, but it's not the eagerness to leave. He thinks that he's outsmarted you, so he'll probably go to Antidas the moment you leave him alone, even if you drag him through the gate kicking and screaming. He's too close to the prize to just leave, and now we can leave him alone or trust in our couple of points of critical strike that we took, and we'll do that. And he's dead. Your strike is fast and lethal. One moment Cassius is standing next to you, the next he's down, clutching the wound and looking as if he doesn't understand what just happened. Regardless, he's dead in less than a minute. That's the type of combat this character is probably going to be doing. Just dirty tricks and sneakiness. We will be searching his body now. And he's got some Loremaster armor, which is actually quite good, and a decent iron weapon, which is also quite good. So we've done that. I'm not going to equip the armor quite yet, but it might come in handy eventually. There is the weapon, right? Let's just put that in our hands for the moment. And we'll go back to Fung. Let's see what our non-shady Loremaster friend has to say. Now what? I should be charging per visit, you know, but I'm way too kind and people take advantage of me all the time, sighs Fung. What do you want, the Gaul? Make it quick. Cassius is no longer a problem. So, young Cassius is gone and will bother us no more. Good riddance, I say. Such a pompous ass that boy was. Well, I owe you a lot more than what I paid you. You must forgive an old man his habits. And I'd like you to have this. Fung carefully unwraps a small bundle and gives you a ring. It's a heavy silver ring covered with softly glowing runes. While the metal feels cold to the touch, the glowing runes burn your fingertips. It's the famous magic ring of General Galbo, explains Fung. The ring was crafted by the Council of Magi to grant the general special powers, which made him unstoppable in battle. After the general's death, the ring was thought to be lost and hasn't been seen for centuries. It is, without a doubt, one of the most important relics of the Empire, and its reappearance is a great omen. So what powers does the ring have? Evidently it makes people stupid, Fung sighs and continues. As I was saying, the ring had changed many hands until it was somehow acquired by your great-grandfather. Since you are, quite obviously, unworthy of possessing such an artifact, you've decided to offer it to Lord Antides, who, as everyone knows, is the one and only true son of the Empire, as a tribute. With me so far? So we're spinning a story here? Yeah, count me in. Very well then. Fung gives you the ring. So what's basically the setup is that we will present the ring, and of course Fung will be the consulted expert, at which point Fung will then confirm that the ring is indeed what we say it is, and the Lord is hopefully gonna buy it. Where are you from, Fung? The Heavenly Kingdom of Zin, where else? I've never heard of Zin. The locals are convinced that their empire had conquered what they call the known world. I can assure you that this is not the case, although they did do their best to turn it into a wasteland. Why'd you come here? We failed? Anger flares in Fung's eyes, but he manages to control himself. It was so long ago I can hardly remember, he says with a fake smile. Leave it alone. So we'll leave that alone. Now, if we just go by our quest log, we now have the ring and the map both pointing us toward Antides. This is indeed an option, but we could also pick up on our conversation previously with the innkeep, who was telling us about the various guilds in town and mentioned Linus the Skull, who is the head of the Merchants Guild. Now, where's the... I'm just trying to show it off. There is the Merchants Plaza, and we can actually double right click and then our character will get his running sandals on and hopefully be a little quicker about his business. Yes, indeed. Oh, as you near the market square, when a man in rich robes approaches you. A moment of your time, kind master. I'm Miltiades, a merchant by trade. I'm terribly sorry to impose on you, but I'm in a bit of a predicament. You see, I deal in the finest weapons and armor. Each item is a work of art, forged from the rarest metals and crafted to perfection. Unfortunately, I can't open up a shop until I settle a dispute with the commercium. Or commercium, I guess, if we're talking Latin here. And I can't settle it until I start selling my merchandise. Thus, I have no choice but to beg people to show kindness and buy what they can at greatly reduced prices. I'm asking only what I paid for these items, so it's quite a bargain. Would you like to take a look? My wares are in a house nearby. Sounds like a good deal, maybe even a little bit too good to be true. One man's misfortune is another man's fortune, is it not? The Commercium's ways of doing business are hardly unheard of. However, if you're having doubts and more comfortable paying double at the market, who am I to argue with you? Some other time, maybe. That very likely is a trap. So here's the trading plaza, dominated by the Merchant Guild's building. The criers earn their money by yelling, best goods, best deals, no offer refused. And we're looking for Linus, who is in the big hall in the Commercium here, where everywhere are signs of wealth and everything points towards them being very powerful. Hello there, Linus. Salve, Ave, or however we greet ourselves here. Yes, will also do. I need a job. Reputation success. Prove yourself and I'll consider your request. What should I do? Smuggling remains a problem. It encourages theft. The moment we close one hole, Kedo makes another one. Like a fucking rat, Linus spits. I have a feeling they will try the guards at the gate next. I've petitioned Lord Antides to post more men there, and even suggest to reinforce it with my own mercenaries, but he remains deaf to my request. Will you be kind enough to bring me proof that the guards are untrustworthy? I'll do my best. So we can now investigate the gate guards to prove ourselves to Linus here and get an in with the Merchants Guild. What would happen now if we were to go to the gates of the palace immediately is they wouldn't let us in. And that wouldn't in fact be such a bad thing, because we'd get another quest or two to gain some more insight or experience. And it doesn't really matter if we also do the starting quest with the Merchants Guild right away, because in the end we can still do the Prove Yourselves quests for the Gate Guard or the Gatekeeper just by picking the right conversation choice, so it doesn't really matter. I would just like to get this out of the way first. You see a group of road-weary travelers trying to enter Teran. Their clothes are ragged and they have the look of desperation about them. You have to pay a levy to enter, explains the guard patiently, looking at one of the women with interest. We don't have any money, pleads one of the refugees. Our village was attacked. The raiders took everything. These are hard times, agrees the guard lazily. But we aren't running a charity here. If you want the protection of House the Rattan, you have to pay. If you can't pay, he looks at the woman again. Please show mercy, begs the man. We have nowhere else to go. Mercy, explodes the guard. Do you have any idea how much it costs to maintain these walls? How many men-at-arms it takes to keep the town safe? Everything costs money, and if you don't have any, you're nothing but a dead fucking weight. With these words, he pushes the man back and turns around, indicating that the conversation's over. What's going on? Refugees. Fucking freeloaders. They think they're entitled to what we've built here. Like we need more beggars and thieves. Well, as a beggar and thief myself, I take offense, the guard spits. How much do you need to pay? Or will you let them starve and die outside the walls? We will ask the first. Me? What am I? Lord of the fucking gate? I was told to collect the levy from everyone who enters Teran. If I start making exceptions, I'll end up outside the walls myself in no time. And even if I did, then what? They come all the time. There are a lot of people out there trying to make it on their own. They think that all they need is a patch of land to call their own. Well, a patch of land ain't worth shit without rough men standing ready to crack a few skulls. He slaps himself on the chest. So, those who survive end up here. If we start letting everyone in, we'll either have to feed them or we'll have a riot on our hands. That's just how it is. And yet you tolerate thieves running a guild, but you can't let these people in? Thieves? They pay everyone, plus they bring chief goods from Madaran or Ganazar. If you ask me, they keep this town running. Well, how much do they need to pay? 30 Imperials per head. There are 5 of them, so that's 150 Imperials. Let's talk to the refugees. Please help us, pleads the older man leading the group. I'll pay you back, I promise. I'm a smith, look. He shows you his rough, calloused hands. Help me and I'll repay your kindness tenfold. We can put the squeeze on, like tell him that he owes us 1500, but considering he doesn't have 150, that doesn't really make any damn sense. I'd rather pay for now and then just use him as an in the town, sort of as someone who owes us, who we can eventually use for our own plottings. So don't worry about it. I'm in your debt, stranger, but I swear that it will be repaid. My name is Aimolas. Look for me at the market square. So there we have it. We've been uncharacteristically charitable, but only to, further our own ends and have someone to sort of wheel the guild trip over. Let's talk to the guard again. You strike up a conversation with the Teran guards watching the gate. There isn't a lot of traffic these days, so the guards are bored and take full advantage of the opportunity to talk your ear off. You fake a genuine interest and skillfully encourage the guards to impress you with their vast knowledge of the current affairs, learning that the guards' pay has been cut again, that Flavius, the watch commander, has lost more than he can afford in a game of chance, and that the Imperial Guards are pretentious bastards who think that they are above the law just because they have some kind of a fancy mandate. What, they cut your pay? That's outrageous. Necessary measures, they say. Necessary measures in my ass. They take because they can. I can't believe that the guards who risk their lives to protect us are underpaid. This is the real crime. The guards enthusiastically agree, and now we can use our persuasion to, see if they are on the take. You know what? I have a shipment leaving Teran in a few days. Instead of paying tax to the Commercium, I'll pay directly to you. I think it's only fair. 10 Imperials each? The guards look at each other. The older man shrugs, letting the younger man to interpret it any way he wants. 50 coins each, the younger man finally says, and you can ship anything you want. If we had some trading, this would actually be possible to drive the price down, but our trading is just down at 1, so we'll have to pay the 50, and this is our entrance fee into the Commercium, so we'll gladly pay it. The older guard slowly counts the coins, occasionally inspecting a few worn-out pieces. When he's satisfied with the transaction, he pockets the money and looks up at you. We have a deal. If we ain't around when you need us, just ask for either of us. I'm Brachus. This here is Iolus. Likewise, leave. Right, we have our proof, so we can head on back to the Merchant Plaza, where Imolas is also here, so he's already set up shop. Let's talk to him. I've been waiting for you, my friend. Thanks to your generosity, my family is safe. It seems that there is a good demand for bronze armor. I've already got several orders, but repaying my debt to you comes first. Please accept this humble gift, the armor of my people. May it keep you safe. So what happened to your village? Raiders, says Imolas. It's getting really bad out there. The wasteland breeds this scum faster than ever before. 10 years ago we were able to fend for ourselves. Last year we spent more time fighting off raiders and farming. You just can't survive on your own anymore. So there is nothing left. There are a few places here and there. If they are well defended, they have a chance, but for how long? When the raiders come, you start losing men, and then it's only a matter of time. You need something that keeps raiders away. What would keep them away? I've heard of a place called Inferie, aptly named. In the old days, the word meant sacrifice ordered to the souls of dead heroes. Offered to the souls of dead heroes. They say the village is built around a pit which connects this world with the one below. Some say it leads to Tartarus itself. I don't know if it's true or not, but I was told that raiders avoid Inferie as if it were a plague. The locals have a habit of throwing lone travelers down into the pit to thank the souls below for their protection and blessings. Maybe it's their madness that keeps them safe. Maybe it's the souls of those long gone. I tell you, the wasteland can be a very strange place. Sometimes leave. And here we have our success built on trust. Wait, I need to talk to you about something. When our settlement was attacked, the writing was already on the wall. We had less than 20 men left, most of them wounded from the previous attacks. It was a bad year for us, so we grabbed what we could and ran. I'm not proud of it, but dying with the rest of them wouldn't have made any difference. My family comes first, principle second. I had money, a lot of money. If you can get it from me, a third is yours. Do you think it's still there? The stash is well hidden, which is why I couldn't get to it in time. You need to know where to look. Give me your word and I'll tell you. You trust a stranger? I don't have a choice. I'm not going back there, so if I trust no one, my money's as good as gone. If I make a deal with you, I get a chance to get some money back. I asked around about you. They say you keep your word, so that's good enough for me. So, do I have your word? Sure you have my word. Let me mark the settlement on your map. The money is buried near the old well. Take 2 steps south and start digging. So now we know where his stash is, and we can proceed with that as we please. Which means this is probably one of the few occasions where being nominally selfless in this game actually pays off. Usually you're just getting taken advantage of and sort of screwed over, so don't count on this on being a pattern. This is a bit of a rarity. Right, we are back with Linus. About the task you asked me to do. So, what have you learned? You were right, Master Linus. The guards eagerly took a bribe. Also, Flavius, commander of the watch, has a large gambling debt. He's a man waiting to be bought. Last but not least, the Imperial Guards have been doing a lot of shipping lately. The watch guards aren't even allowed to stop them. I knew it. Something is definitely going on. Karina's that fucking snake. I knew that I would regret the day they sent him here. Excellent work. I gave you a simple task and you gave me 200%. I praise this quality above all in those who serve me. Here's your first task. As you can see, the Imperial Guards are up to something again. Shipments, drills, recruiting, it's not good. Find out what it is. And we at least recoup some of the money we paid. And if we had trading, which, you know, as a merchant we might be expected to have, we would actually have made 25 of a profit, since we could cut the price down to 25. Any suggestions? Mercato Breni, a man with a grudge. He was next in line for the top job when Carina's was sent here so unexpectedly. I've heard that Mercato favors Cato's Tavern these days, drinking and gambling. Have a chat with him, see what you can do. Cato's Tavern, isn't it the Thieves Guild? When it comes to business, we aren't prejudiced. Neither is Cato, it seems. Sometimes I think that he has picked the wrong guild. I'll talk to Mercato. So, we have yet again a bit of a branch and path. We can pursue our work with the Merchants Guild, or we can show up at Antidas's place, but I think we should stay with the Merchant storyline for now, or the Commercium storyline for now. But I have been running on for a bit, so we'll do that in the next episode. I will definitely be playing a bit more of this, so like I said, like a chapter or two, depending, just, you know, running this character along the storylines for a bit and showing off the game and playing the main quest and playing the side quests. It's not complete yet, but there is more than enough to make it worth a couple of playthroughs. Like there is so many different approaches you can take that it's not even like a fragment of what you're seeing here is just what you're getting if we're playing through this. But I like this non-combat approach. I like this dialogue-heavy approach. It's not often that you get to do this, and I want to see how far we can take it, and I want to see, what the consequences are of trying to avoid fights. So here we are. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time, and bye for now.